Hey mamas, it's good to see you again. We're gonna go and talk about
our birthing stories. Our birth stories.
birth stories. It's gonna get intense. So we got over here some coffee and some little pupusas with arepa.
Arepa pupusa style.
Half Colombian style, looks like. So we're gonna go ahead and tell you guys the story of experience, how it went on that day giving birth. So especially for her, she had to experience. You can go ahead and tell your story.
No, you go.
No. I don't remember yet. I need to start drinking my coffee first so I can start remembering. Go.
When we talk
and then you gave birth first than me, like 2 weeks earlier. So you should go first.
All right. So she's always telling me I talk a lot, so I'm gonna try to shorten this up as much as I can. The day that I was having contractions, it was a Friday. So I was due the 20. Oh my gosh, I don't want to confuse both of my births. I was due on April 26th. And that day she was still not coming out. And so
you were how many weeks? I'm sorry.
I was 40 weeks. And she was like, nothing was going on. I was barely dilated. I think I was dilated at 3 for I don't know how long, for a while. And so that day I went to my OB and he gave me a paper. He gave me a paper that scheduled the C-section, since I wasn't, giving labor.
With Sophia too?
Yeah, that was with Sophie. Yeah, with Sophie.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I was gonna be scheduled for a C-section for that Monday, since nothing was going on. And okay, so I was due the 26th. He scheduled me for, I think it was like May 3rd. It was May 3rd. It was that Monday. And then gladly, I finally went into contractions the 30th. So the 29th is Orlando's birthday, my husband's birthday. And that day we went to eat some Asian food. And I was feeling like some contractions, like something was going on. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. Like, how exciting. Both my husband and Sophie's birthday the same day, right?
Yeah.
But nothing happened that day. We went to the pool. I tried to exercise. I was like, okay, maybe before 12 o'clock, but nothing happened. The next day, 2 a.m. hits, and I started having contractions. And we had gone the week before to the hospital because I was bleeding a little bit, and they just sent us back home after a couple of tests. So we didn't want to do the same mistake again. And what was I? 2 a.m. hits, contractions. Okay. So
that was doing too loud, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
So from 2 a.m. until it was like 6 a.m. that I was like having the contraction app, and I was timing it. And it seemed like the longer it kept going, the more they were being on pattern. I think it's like every 5 minutes. For 1 minute, it was 551 or something like that. What was it? Do you remember?
So for the contraction, usually either if it's 3 minutes apart, like your contractions, then for when it's 3 minutes apart, I think that's when you have to rush to go to the hospital.
I'm gonna look it up. Contraction.
Bro, really? Oh my God.
Okay, anyway, it's the 511 rule. So the contractions come every 5 minutes. They have to last for 1 minute for a whole hour. Okay, and then so it was 6 a.m. I finally woke up Orlando. I didn't want to wake him up because he had to work, and I didn't want him to be stressed about having to go into work, and me having over here some pains. Not sure if it was labor pains or not, or contraction pains or not.
Yeah.
And so I'm finally wake him up, and I'm like, hey babe, like I'm in pain, and they're contractions. And he's like, well, I can't call off right now. So he went into work. I called my mom.
He was so worried about the job, then the baby coming out. Oh my God, Orlando.
So I called my mom and I told her, hey, we gotta go. We're going. And she came and picked me up at 8. And we went to Winnie Palmer. And at Winnie Palmer, we went to triage. And they took me in and they checked me. And I was still having contractions. By this time, the contractions were really, really painful. And I like to think I'm a tough girl, that I can handle pretty much a lot of pain. But I think I can, yes.
No, I don't think you can.
I can. I am definitely a tough girl. Ask anyone except her. Anyway, so the contractions were really, really bad. And they sent me to walk because I was still not dilated, but they were really, really bad. They said I was having contractions of like 6, dilated 6 women, a woman dilated at 6, and my dilation was still 3. Well, it was 2 at this time.
But your water hasn't.
No, it wasn't broken yet.
So that's why they sent you to go on a walk.
They sent me to walk so I could dilate more.
Right. Okay.
But I hadn't broken my water yet. So, by the way, I did have time to shower. Like, if you're thinking, can I shower? Yes, you shower, you do your makeup. I didn't do my makeup. I showered and my mom got there and I just left with my stuff. Anyway, so I went into the hospital without no bags, just me and my mom. And they, like I said, they sent us to triage. They sent me out to walk. I could barely walk, you guys. By the time they sent me to walk, it was like 9:30. And 9:30, and I could barely move. Like, I'm moving so slow, like a nail, like a snail, or a turtle. Like, wow. I was barely making any movement, any progress at all. And I was actually leaning, and every counter I found in the corner, I was just leaning, and I was like, I was just waving side to side.
Oh man.
Anyway, so I hadn't drank anything, I hadn't eaten anything, no breakfast, and I finally got to the lobby, and I drank water because I was so thirsty. I drank water, and in that moment, I puked. And I also broke my water as I was puking. I think like the force.
The force of throwing up.
It made my water break. Oh my gosh, I can't remember my pain. It was so bad. So from there, someone came with a wheelchair, and I felt so bad. And they took me to triage again, and they took off all my clothes, and from there, they gave me a gown. From there, we went into, I had to wait a little bit for the room to be ready.
Yeah.
Anyway, when we were going in there, I hear this nurse, and she's like, oh my gosh, she's so chatty. And I could not believe that they told me that, because I was like,
she said that?
She said I was chatty, yeah, because I was like, and honestly, if
Did you ever have a kid? I wonder, do you ever have kids? Like, did you ever give birth? Because, I mean, you wouldn't know if the pain, like, all you mamas out there, you must know the pains. Like, what the heck?
I didn't want to cry, because if I cried, I knew that my strength was going to come down.
Yeah.
And so I had built up like a wall that I was like, I'm not going to cry, because if I cry, I'm going to cry in pain. Mm-hmm. So I just rather like hold the force, and like, I think I was like moaning every, I don't know how often, but it was like, hello, I can't hold it in. Yeah. Anyway, they took me in. I still remember, I was so offended, but whatever.
I'll get that upstairs. Girl's name. I'll be like, this person said this. I don't want her in my room.
I don't think I saw her after that.
Oh, good.
Anyway, so when we got upstairs, they were already waiting for me to put my
epidural.
My epidural, yes. And I used the bathroom really quick, and someone came and gave me an epidural, and she was so lovely. She was so quick about it. Like, literally, I think she took maybe, 3 minutes is a lot. And my husband does this for his job, and he says, like, this process that she did on me was amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I was glad, and I felt it instantly. And I mean, instantly, as in, like, I could, like, my pain was gone. I mean, he says normally it takes a little bit, but honestly, I felt like I was at a relief. So after that, it was smooth sailing. It was an amazing time.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I got to nap for 20 minutes because I hadn't
Oh, you
slept
took a nap and everything?
since 2 a.m. Yeah, I hadn't slept since 2 a.m. So I took a small nap and I started shaking out of nowhere. Did you start shaking? Do you remember shaking a little bit? Like you had escalofrío?
I feel like my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, started shaking. I can feel it shaking.
Yeah.
But I also had the epidural, so I
yeah.
remember.
So Orlando said between the hormones and the epidural, your body does start trembling a little bit. And I was like, this is like COVID time. So I had actually gotten COVID a month before, and when they took the test at the end of the month, I was still positive.
No way.
Yeah, but they had already put me in like the regular room because normally they send you into isolation.
Mm-hmm.
They had already put me in the regular room. The nurses had already come and gone, and so when they found out like that it was positive, everyone was in shock and they're like, what do we do? But since I had already been there,
yeah,
then they didn't do anything. Normally they said that they could have like put the nurses, one nurse told me, you know, if somebody puts on the ground, like don't feel offended, it's because they're trying to protect their family. But
yeah.
Nobody ended up putting a gown because COVID was like after 2 weeks it's like you're not contagious anymore. Back then after 2 weeks you're not contagious anymore.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I don't know why I was so positive, but I showed her my paper that I had gotten the test like at the beginning of the month, so they knew that,
yeah,
you know, I hadn't just gotten it like within the last 2 weeks. And what happens after that?
You start pushing or no? Did you start pushing?
Did you push or not? I got Pitocin after I got my epidural because I was not dilated.
También.
I got Pitocin. Yeah.
I don't remember if I got Pitocin.
Well, I was really slow.
Okay. Mine it was okay. Go ahead. Because mine was like it was going fast, and out of nowhere, when I started feeling the shaking, that's when they were like, "You're not dilating."
Okay.
So right away they gave me the Pitocin. Now I remember.
You got it too.
Yeah, I got the Pitocin also as well.
Yeah. I think it's very common for women to get Pitocin. Yeah. But anyway, what was I gonna say?
You got the Pitocin.
I got Pitocin and I started shaking. They told me it was normal. I hear my baby's crying. Anyway, so at 8:00, they started coming in and they started taking my. So between all this time, they told me that they didn't want to check my, how much I had dilated because since I had broken my water at 10:00, I actually took a picture. Since I had broken my water, it's not like sometimes you get something called chorioamnionitis. I think that's the name, and that usually happens when you break your water like 24 hours after or something like that.
Okay.
Pretty close to that. And so they didn't want to open me up because they didn't want me getting an infection. So it's an infection that you get on your placenta and your amniotic fluid. And anyway, I ended up getting it. So at 8:00, they started coming in and taking my temperature because I guess my heart was beating fast. Her heart was beating fast.
Oh no!
But every time they took the temperature, it was coming out normal. Like I had normal temperature.
Okay.
And they even checked me inside, and I still had normal temperature. Oh my gosh! I'm talking so much, my voice. I feel like
you did good.
So anyway, this lady.
You had a lot of detail, a lot going on that day.
I did have a lot going on, yeah. I ended up doing my makeup too before all this happened.
Oh God. Who has time for that but me?
Apparently I did. So a nurse came, she took my temperature, she stuck her thermometer more deep inside, and it showed a high temperature. And at that point, they checked me and I don't know if I was dilated enough or I wasn't, but they started wanting me to push. And at 9 o'clock, we started this whole pushing thing, the actual labor.
So you got there at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I got there at 8.
8 a.m.
No, I got there at 8:30.
At 8:30 a.m. Then you start pushing at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a whole day.
And I had been awake since 2 a.m.
Oh my God. Do you remember how long was your labor?
It was 20 minutes. Yeah.
No, the whole process from like broke your water and everything.
Oh, no, no.
Well, 20 minutes, that's not bad.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. So I started pushing, and I suggest that if you're going through labor and you can't seem to be able to, because my mindset was I need to take, I didn't know all of this was going on, by the way. Nobody told me anything. And if I did, maybe I was in La La Land. But I had no idea that I had an infection. I had no idea that something could be going on with the baby.
Maybe sometimes I guess a doctor rather not say it just because they don't want to worry the moms. Because once you're telling them, you know, the moms started getting worried. They're like, so what are we going to do? And then they just start getting desperate.
Yeah.
And then just the whole labor, she might go in shock. And it's just not going to be healthy for the baby.
I guess maybe. Yeah, I mean.
Maybe they had
I don't know if I'm
like
thankful or not, to be honest. But that's probably one of the reasons. So I started pushing, and they tried different positions. Different positions in the same pose that I was in. Different positions, meaning they moved my legs in different positions to try to get her out. I'm the type of person that I don't like to. I'm very shy. I'm very quiet. I'm very reserved. And even through my whole labor, I'm very shy, very quiet, very reserved. But I don't know. Something told me, because they kept saying they counted from 1 to 10, and during that time I was pushing, and then after they finished the 10, then I would get a break.
Yeah.
But I was like, I took a breath, and then I would want to keep pushing. So I was like, hey, can I keep pushing?
Yeah. You don't feel any pain. It's a matter of
I was not feeling. So they're like, when you feel a contraction, push. But I wasn't feeling anything.
So you would not know.
I didn't know. I wasn't. Yeah. I didn't know if I was having a contraction or not. So anyway, they were actually the ones telling me. But even when I wasn't having a contraction, I wanted to push. So I was pushing. Finally, 20 minutes went by. Baby came out, and she had the cord around her neck. She didn't come out crying. She was pretty purple. But they told me that she was fine, and they just took her to the side. They just
try not to worry you and make you
at
feel
all.
Yeah. They don't want you to know like what's going on, because it just makes things worse, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So they put her to the side. They did some tests that I don't even know what it's called right now, but they did a test, and they took a little bit to get Sophie to cry. Anyway, Sophie was sent to NICU. They let me hold her for a little bit, but Sophie was sent to NICU, and she was there for 5 days, and nothing. She's a healthy baby.
Yeah, she's super healthy now.
She was born at 7 pounds, 10 ounces.
Yeah. I hope you guys liked the video. And if you want to, this is a part 1. So if you guys want to see the part 2 of the next video, just make sure click on it, and then you'll get the whole another story side of mine. But I hope you mamas loved the story. You know, everyone goes through the same different things, giving birth. She had a lot going on that day. She almost got C-section, or scheduled. For C-section.
Well, I actually almost got into an emergency C-section.
There was a lot going on. So if you want to see the part 2, make sure you click on the next video.